Say it now. Say the obvious prediction right now.
The Stars are going to win the Stanley Cup.
Hey guys, welcome back to Starcaster Remarks alongside Chris and James. My name is Ryan. Thank you for being here with us this evening. The Dallas Stars have evened the series in their second round against the Colorado Avalanche. They win by a final score of 5-3 tonight. Lots of things to talk about with this game tonight. And I know I always say that, but more so than most games, because there's going to be one particular story that everybody is going to be talking about over the next 24 to 48 hours. And we will get to that when we get to it. But guys, how has your day been, first off? And then what's your initial thoughts from this game here tonight?
Man, I can't believe it happened again. I mean, I knew there was going to be a pushback, but I thought the Stars were going to be like, all right, we learned from the first game. We're going to just settle down defensively, keep playing the exact same way we did the first two periods on the defensive end, maybe soften it up a little bit in the offensive end, and we'll lock this baby down. Nope, didn't do it. Needed all four of those goals. So I'm glad we got that shorty by Sagan at the end of the second, but man, you've got to find a way to play better against this Colorado Avalanche team when you have a lead. They've done it to us 3 times now this year. So, and they almost did it again, and they would have if they had a few more minutes.
What have I learned? A 3-goal lead is not safe. A 4-goal lead is. I mean, and it was the regular season too. We didn't have a 4-goal lead in the regular season that we blew. So whatever. I guess 4 is what we need. What I think it is, Chris, is that you just can't stop playing offense against this team. You can't give them the space like you did Vegas. They are going to burn you.
I think you're exactly right there. I think that's exactly what they're doing is when they go into that lockdown, they are giving that free neutral zone, free entry into their defensive zone, and that's when they're punishing us.
Okay, so this is a segue into what y'all just kind of talked about. The thing that I was a little frustrated about when it looked like they were going to blow the lead was the lack of blocked shots. Does that seem to be a thing with you guys, something you noticed? Because at least with me, the last series against Vegas absolutely showed me that this team can do it. And they were blocking shot after shot. Sticks were in the right lane. And I know this is a different team, and I know this team has a little bit more firepower and definitely super firepower compared to the Vegas Golden Knights with their top players. But I still feel like they could be better at that aspect of their defensive game. Fair? Not fair?
That's fair. And the Avs did that tonight, actually. They blocked a ton of shots. Makar, in particular, had 7 blocked shots on the night. Hopefully he feels bad after that.
Yeah, and I mean, the Avs get 2 of their goals off of shots from the point that just trickle through. I mean, the Kiviranta one is one that they shoot from the point that bounces around and finds its way to Kivi. He tucks it home, and then the other one bounces off of Nichushkin's knee from the wall. So, yeah, definitely need to get in some shot lanes better. And only in the third period. The first 2 periods were perfect. There was nothing. The Avs had no space. Their top players couldn't do anything. And that's what I'm so confused by. We played 3 outstanding, perfect periods of Stars versus Avalanche hockey. That's how you want to play those 3 periods. And the other 3 are just terrible. It's so weird how all or nothing this series has been for both teams.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the Avs fans feel that way too. They play, why can't they play this way in every period? And both teams are asking the same question.
I think the difference in tonight's game was the fact that the Stars at least played the second period better than they played the second period in game 1. I think that's the difference. And they gave themselves just enough breathing room to allow Colorado to come back and still not lose the game. So the nice thing about all of this is it doesn't matter how you win. It matters that you won, right? I think that's a takeaway from this game. But guys, they played really, really well. They did. And
for 2 periods.
For 2 periods. And I don't even necessarily think the third period was the worst period in the world. But what they did is they took their foot off the gas. And here's the problem, though. How many teams do you think can play that way with their foot all the way down on the gas pedal all 60 minutes for the next 5 games is what I'm guessing. I don't think that's possible. So is this just something we're going to have to see? Is this going to be the way the Stars are going to have to succeed? And this is the recipe. Get a giant lead, play really, really good for the first 40 minutes, maybe even first 45 going into the third period, and then just kind of weather the storm as Colorado sort of kind of presses their way back. I know that is logical or a good idea, but it at least worked tonight, didn't it?
Yeah. It's not a good idea because we're giving them too much space. I don't think you have to have constant offensive pressure throughout the entire third period, but you have to dump it in and at least forecheck. And that just has not happened when we have these huge leads. We just stop forechecking. We get to center ice and we dump it in and we change.
Yeah. And it needs to be a happy medium in the third period, and that's what the Stars aren't doing. The Stars are going all the way back in their own zone and just trying not to make a mistake. And at the same time, the Avs are turning their aggressiveness and risk-taking up to 100 too. But when the Stars are playing that back and that reserved, whenever the Avs take those risks, they're getting rewarded. So you have to find a medium there. You got to protect your blue line. You got to challenge the neutral zone. And like James says, you got to forecheck against these guys. If you don't forecheck and you let their defensemen skate with the puck through the neutral zone, they're going to kill you. Ryan? I guess Ryan's gone.
I guess he is. That was really awkward. Anyway,
he's still looking at us, but whatever.
My back.
So, you're here, Ryan.
That was so awkward. Your eyes were moving and everything.
Yeah, we saw your video going, so I was just waiting on you. But oh well.
It was frozen for y'all. Whatever. Okay. Let's move. Let's talk about the big obvious thing in today's game is the Jamie Benn hit on Devontae's. I knew I was going to be opening a can of worms when I put this on the Podcast X feed, but I literally put okay ... Let me know your honest thoughts. Is it clean? Is it dirty? What do you think about the hit? on Jamie Benn, and I'll pose the same question to you right now.
I mean, it's a clean hit. He puts his shoulder into his chest and knocks him down. Taves was looking down at his skates behind the net with a Jamie Benn on the ice. I mean, that's a pretty dumb idea. And Jamie did great. He put a shoulder right into his chest. It looked bad because his head whipped back, but his head whipped back because he got hit so freaking hard.
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing that tells you how this wasn't a dirty hit, the refs called it a 5 minutes so they could review it. They called it a 5 minutes so they could review it. I hate it too. That's why they called it. It took them less than 2 minutes to figure out it was fine. I mean, that was not a long, drawn out review, and it was instant, and it was back, and we were back playing the game again.
I mean, what are we doing with penalties? I mean, why are we saying, oh, you can't review 2 minute minor, but when there's any kind of big play or big hit, we're going to call it a major and view it. I mean, let's just call delay a game a major. 5 minute major for delay of game. Let's go back and review it and see if he actually did shoot the puck out of play. I mean, what are we doing? It's just stupid. The refs are just deciding which penalties they want to review or not at this time. Dumb.
So you think they just be allowed to review minor penalties?
Either review everything or stop being pansies and call the game. I mean, they're trying to play it both ways, and it's getting ridiculous at this point. I mean, every time there's a big hit, they're just calling a major just to figure out what they want to call. It's stupid. And I mean, it killed the momentum too. A big bin hit like that can get the building going. You get another face-off just immediately there. Building's rocking.
The play shouldn't have stopped either.
The play shouldn't have stopped. Well, it stopped because he was injured, and then the Avs got the puck. So I think the play stopping is fine. But, I mean, not restarting it as soon as we're good to go again, it's stupid. The refs are being pansies all this playoffs. I mean,
that was
stick up for yourself.
That one didn't even seem close. It's kind of my issue. Like some of these are like on edge and like, okay, but Ben, it's a shoulder to shoulder contact. And I think the only reason why it gets called is because Taves doesn't pop up immediately because it looks like he's hurt.
Okay, so here's how I feel about it. Honestly, in real time, it looks a lot worse than it actually does. I think that's fair to say because you do see the head whip back. There was no head contact there. There was zero head contact. The shoulder, obviously, of Jamie Benn went into the chest of Devon Taves. Now, what some people are saying are they're getting into the nuts and bolts of this hit. Like, for example, did he leave his feet? Even if he did, he barely left his feet. And we're not talking by very much. And plus, it was after the hit was already done.
That's how it works.
Now, the one thing I can maybe see and understand about the hit is the way that Jamie Benn elevated himself into the hit. But again, it doesn't matter because the principal I can't think of the word. The principal point of contact was the chest of Devon Taves. It was not his head. It was not even close. Okay. That's what you are taught to do in football when you go for a tackle. You get down low and you push up with your knees. And that is what Jamie Benn did. So if you want to change the rules and get to include that portion of the argument into it being a dirty hit or whatever and elevating, then fine, go and do it. Okay. But it, according to the rule book of the NHL, that is not a dirty hit.
And I don't think really anyone wants that to be a dirty hit either. No. I mean, he just hit him. The only reason he went out of the game is because he got the wind knocked out of him completely. I mean, he was moving and he got full stopped and thrown to the ice by a massive human. So I don't think anyone's calling for that play to be removed from the game. It was a good hit.
I don't think it was that. I think the reason why he was taken out was just for precaution, probably concussion spotter or something like that. That would be my guess because the way the whiplash that hurt just watching that. So that would be my guess.
I don't think that was because normally that they tell you that the broadcast will figure that out and they can inform us of that. So I don't think that's what it was.
I think another part of this hit, though, is Taves is trying to corral a puck and is not looking for the next forward to come in on him either. I mean,
Yeah.
they're fighting for the puck, and then he's starting to reach for it too. And that can be dangerous, but Ben did a really, really good job of making sure the contact was not with the head. And you could tell that if you go back and watch it, you can tell he made it a point to not hit him in the head.
Dropping his shoulder, yeah.
He didn't get the chicken wing up, so we didn't see the chicken wing and the elbow go up. You know, he kept that tucked in like he's supposed to. So I talked to a couple of Colorado Avalanche fans that I trust, and there are reasonable ones. And there were some that said they thought it was a dirty hit, but according to the rule book, it's not dirty. There were some that were completely angry about the hit and said it was completely dirty. And then there were some that said, you know, Taves has got to keep his head up. So I think it's going to be it's just going to be debated for the next 24, 48 hours.
I don't even think it will be. Not by
if that's a hit. If that's a hit that is a dirty hit, half the hits in the Vegas Dallas series were dirty hits. I mean,
we
that
just
was
saw
that entire series.
I mean, we just saw Trouba try and murder somebody on the other ice and miss it
That's
at the boards. So, like,
that is
if that's
good
not
point.
a penalty, then I mean, a clean hit to the chest shouldn't be debated.
So, okay, let's move on into this because we've spent a lot of time on this already, but I think it was noteworthy to discuss that. But man, Jamie Benn, the man, the myth, the legend, the returner of El Capitan, like, is ridiculous. That he has been playing exactly how the Stars need him to play. It's almost like he's been in this situation before and doesn't want to lose this time.
That's crazy.
We are seeing the best form of Jamie Benn I think we've seen in 3 or 4 years. And he's getting a little bit on the score sheet. He's obviously not getting a ton, but man, is he making an impact on the game. And he is getting his team going. It's absolutely fantastic what he's been doing.
And the more fun stuff for me is like he is throwing the hits, but also whenever someone lands a huge hit on one of his players, he goes and nails that person right back.
In a clean and responsible way.
Yeah, it doesn't cross-check him in the back of the head.
Yeah, that's tough.
I thought it was kind of funny how Manson tried to take a run at Jamie Benn, and Jamie Benn just kind of stared him down, like, like, really? Like, dude, like, come on. Like, but anyways, he is one of the most hated players in the NHL right now. And he's up there with the Brad Marchands of the world. And I'm here for it, and I love it. So
yeah, if he's not up there, then he's not doing his job right.
Absolutely. Okay, I here's the biggest story of the game here for me, and hopefully y'all are reading my mind and where I'm going with this. Rope Hintz. Where the heck has this guy been the last 9 games? He finishes the game with a goal and 3 assists for 4 points. He has 18:42 time on ice. And then here's the thing that if you really want to dig into the advanced analytics, guys, his expected goals tonight, he has a .825, almost double of the next closest Dallas Stars player, which was Tyler Seguin at .426. He has arrived. The King has returned. Just exploded tonight. We saw a little bit more of his ability to play in game 1. We saw the speed. He was using it. It is now fully clicked. And we've been complaining about him for the last couple of weeks, but he's obviously fighting something. But man, at least in this game today, he really showed up. He gets in on the offense in 4 of the 5 goals tonight.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of made a conscious decision to stop Johnston instead of Hintz, and that seems like that decision was wrong.
Yep. I mean, this is exactly what the Stars have been talking about all year. When one player is shut down or just isn't able to score, another one takes his place. That's exactly what happened tonight because they fully shut down Johnston. Yeah. They did a great job against Johnston tonight. Well, you forgot about the actual number 1 center, and he made you pay for it.
It's fantastic watching what he did tonight. That really made me feel good. And it was, in my opinion, one of 2 reasons why the Dallas Stars won tonight. He was probably the biggest reason, in my opinion. And just even in the empty net goal, it was just a heads up play. And, you know, typically you would expect him to kind of go up the boards and try and get it out. He makes one little play back to Essa, opens up just a little bit of space. Essa deposits it into the net from 199 feet away, just like the broadcast said. So fantastic job by Rope Hintz tonight. He deserves a lot of accolades for his play tonight. Second thing I wanted to get into tonight was the special teams. Special teams was absolutely a positive for the Stars tonight, whether you look at it from the penalty killing standpoint or from the power play standpoint. Yes, we had a ton of power plays here this evening, but honestly, a lot of it was self-inflicted by the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, they could complain and argue about all the penalties that they had tonight, but 4 of them were things that were really easy for the refs to call, and they're going to call every single time. And you have to call, right? 2 of them being too many men on the ice, just a typical bench minor. And the second one was really egregious. And then 2 delay of games, just, lazy plays.
Too many men on the ice in playoffs it's kind of embarrassing. And the fact that it's happened twice, I don't know if that's ever happened before in a playoff game.
The second one is shocking. They were just playing with 6 guys. Like, it wasn't even just a poor change. They were just playing with 6 players. That's incredibly bad.
It's almost like they were saying, oh, well, we can't get one past Otter. Might as well try this and see if it works and keep our goalie in at the same time.
Yeah, so the Avs fans complaining about penalties. If you look at the subjective calls, one might say, the calls that the referee gives you, the Avs got 3 and the Stars got 1. So,
yeah, apparently the Avs played a much cleaner game than the Stars did.
Yeah, don't know about that one, Chief.
Least penalized team in the league, by the way.
So, I was, especially I think it was the very first one that the Stars took. Who took that penalty again? Help me out here.
I don't remember.
Crud.
I'll get there.
Mason Marchment.
Mason Marchment, that was the one that...
Yep.
Tripping on Mikko Rantanen, 1855.
Yes, that is the one that I was absolutely hacked off about. That was correct. And I was just like, of course, the only reason why they're calling it is because it's Mikko Rantanen, right? You know, if it's McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, one of those 3 guys, they're getting a call on a completely bogus call. It was so stupid. And that really hacked me off at that point because that had been like the first shift that Colorado had in our zone that was of significance. And of course they get a power play, but you kind of expect that considering how many power plays the Stars had before Colorado got their first one.
It's not our fault that they don't know how to play hockey.
And this is where
we shouldn't be punished for the other team sucking. And
this is where I get to this, where just call the game the way that you see it. Don't try to even stuff up. And we all know that it happens. The whole Tim Peel situation a couple of years ago. We know they look for ways to even up the games and try to make it as fair as possible. But the thing is it shouldn't have been. It should not have been. Those 4 calls that went against the Colorado Avalanche were self-inflicted, easy calls for the refs to make. So just call what you see on the ice. Some of the calls tonight were just completely bogus, and especially that first one really hacked me off.
Almost all of the minor penalties both ways were like kind of the slashing on the Donov kind of I mean,
I see that one a little bit, James, but again, it was still a major scoring chance.
But it's also weak. It's very weak in a game where I don't get it. I don't.
The one that I was kind of like, okay, he kind of deserves that was when Marchment took an embellishment penalty on Kiviranta. Kiviranta, I was
doing
mad.
It off of the face-off every single time. It's not just Kiwi. This is what the Avs do. They push off whatever forward is trying to make it to the point, and they score constantly from it. And they're just allowed to get away with it all the time.
But let's be honest, Marchment, he did sell that just a little bit. But
yeah, but they wouldn't have called the interference if he didn't.
Yeah, they wouldn't have called the interference if he didn't.
And see, that is what is frustrating. It's like players have learned that the only way to get calls sometime is if they just fall on the ice, right? Stick is between your legs, in between your skates, Oh, credit's just a little bit. Oh, and then
Especially in that
Faldo,
situation where it's a smaller player on a bigger player setting a pick, they're never gonna call that on Kiviranta. Oh, that guy's 6 inches shorter than you. He didn't interfere with you. They're never gonna call that.
Right. So I just wish they would just
And it's
call
still
it.
stupid
Yeah.
saying that there was a penalty, but there was also embellishment. Don't make no sense.
All right. So those were my two big talking points here tonight in the game was mostly rope hints and then the special teams. That those were the two really, really, really big things I thought stood out in the game here tonight. Now, I do need to give a little bit of credit to Otter too. Otter was fantastic, especially early on in the first period.
Yep.
He showed up tonight. He wasn't bad in game one at all. I thought he was pretty good,
Mm,
but man, he night and day difference tonight. Saying that he was so much better.
yeah, absolutely beat Georgiev tonight, 110%. And that's what he has to do. He needs to beat Georgiev every single game this series. He was a much better goaltender than Georgiev. So he needs to take care of that. And he did tonight.
For Giev. We're getting back to that.
5 Giev?
Nah,
No,
it was
he only let him 4.
That didn't count. He only let him 4. So hashtag 4give. Make it go. All right. Anything I have not talked about tonight that y'all want to hit before we move on?
Nope.
No, not really. Not much I can think of. So, yes, the Stars kind of let them back in the game a little bit. Colorado found their way back in the
A
game.
little bit.
But at the end of the day, shh,
A lot
James,
of
be
it.
quiet. Be quiet. They still find a way to win. They're able to take game 2, and it's going to Colorado, all evened up, and it is way better than the way that we felt when we lost game 2 against Vegas. So,
Yep.
I mean, the Stars are the best road team in the NHL. We had one of the best records in the NHL in the regular season. We were able to pull 2 out of Vegas at the Fortress, which is one of the hardest barns to get a win in. And now we get to go do it in Denver at Ball Arena. So that's also
Hooray.
going to be really difficult. So
The best home team in the league.
And just like in Vegas, it's super important to go and win this game 3. I mean, we all know you need to get 1 in Colorado, at least. You got to make up for the one you lost. It's important to make it the third one. You don't want to make game 4 next to must win. You want that one to be like, if we get it, we're lucky. I mean, we want to win game 3, put the pressure back on Colorado for the first time this series.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Wardell. How about Tyler Sagan getting that shorthanded goal? That was good to see
Great.
him back on the sheet as well. So
And that line looks so much. I don't know what it is about the 3 of those guys together. The whole line looks so much better.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Chris. I knew there was some things we were forgetting. That second line tonight, whatever it is, third line, whatever you want to call it, they were so great tonight. There is just something about having all 3 of those guys together that just really makes it tick and work. And some people were a little upset about the fact that Foxa was taken out, but it makes total sense to me.
It does.
I mean, Foxa is fighting something. He gave you his best in game 7, which he absolutely gave you his best. He got a goal in the game.
Goal.
Yeah,
Series
exactly.
winning goal.
Series winning goal. Yeah. And he deserves the rest. If he's banged up, let him take a rest and throw in Ty Dellandrea.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's not like we were losing a lot, I feel like, when you take Fox out, especially when he's still injured or hurt. So when he's hurt and you have Dodonov there who can make a difference on that fourth line, I think it's a fine thing to rest him, because it's not absolutely mandatory that he play. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's kind of a pick your weapon, I guess. Not poison, because they're both good, but pick your candy.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it's a what's the word? It's a luxury for this team to be able to take Foxa out like that, and the team seemingly get better. We traded out Sagan for Marchment in this game. Like, there's an obvious upgrade there. Marchment, on that line together, like y'all said, it's just so much better. Without one of them, they're the third line, and with all of them, they're the second line easily.
Yep. Completely makes sense to me too. All right, one last thing, and we'll do biggest winner, biggest loser. The thing that hacked me off the most, and I know it sort of kind of happened, was I am so sick of these freaking national broadcast. Oh, here comes Colorado. Here, like, come on, like it. I was
Oh
like,
man. The
I
worst one
understand.
was the shot from the boards that they almost had, and the announcer screams, "Here it comes!"
Yeah,
like
Here it
it's
comes.
like
What?
Here it comes,
it's
guys.
like there's a shot blocker in front of him too. Like, please, man, make it less obvious.
Listen, like,
Pretend at
just
least.
scream.
Please, yes, pretend or something.
Yeah.
Just scream that you're from the heavens that you're Colorado stands. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, seriously.
It was
A- a-
crazy that every time there was a close call, it was always it should go to Vegas. I mean, the bin hit, even the bin hit, the announcers were like, "Oh, that's definitely head contact." Like, what?
Reviewed it 2 minutes, instantly done.
Reviewed 2 minutes. Everyone said no. Everyone at the desk back at the studio said no, it wasn't. So like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I know that's so
I just think we
petty of-
shouldn't talk about it anymore, honestly. I mean, we know it sucks. Let's
Shoot,
tweet
I'm
about it.
gonna keep talking about it, and until I finally have time to actually like sync up Josh and Razor from the ticket with the TNT feed or whatever. Once I'm able to do that and have time to be able to do that, I'm gonna do it. But I'm so sick of this. I mean, what is it going to be like if the Stars do win the Stanley Cup? Oh, the Stars win the Stanley Cup. Nothing like the Gary Thorne call of 1999. Nothing like Ralph when in 1999 when the Stars won. Just I'm so sick of it. And I hate this bias towards every other team like it feels like. And it makes me even more mad when a guy like Shannon, the hockey guy, that one of the biggest hockey YouTubers on the planet, is saying the same sort of thing about the Stars series in Game 7 against Vegas, right? I would not be shocked if he says something similar about this game tonight. And oh, here comes Colorado. Let's go, guys. Like, I need to stop before I keep hampering on.
I already knew I didn't like national broadcast. I didn't like them in the regular season either. And typically they do try to be fair to the home team. And it feels like they should do that in the playoffs too, and they just don't. It's whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Mato, I should be a little bit more clear. Josh and Razor's call will be glorious. Absolutely. What I'm saying is the TNT broadcast, the ESPN broadcast, whatever it would be, would not be great. They'd just be like, oh my goodness, the Stars win. Great. Okay, biggest winner, biggest loser. Who have we got tonight? Let's start with, I don't know, James. Who you got?
I want the easy one. Biggest winner, Rope Hintz. Oh my word, he has arrived. What a game. He makes up basically half the points that he would have had in the first round in this one game. He's just got to do it like 3 more times and he'll catch up to what he would normally be at. So, Rope Hintz with the absolutely massive game. He's all over the ice tonight. Great passes, especially on the first power play goal. That pass across to Miro was great. And then the finish off of Lundqvist's pass was great too.
Yep. Miro Haskins, the biggest winner. 2 goals tonight. Shows up offensively in the playoffs now. And yeah, he was just positioning himself perfectly tonight. He was in good spots to score even more than just those 2. So hopefully he keeps doing that, cheats a little bit further down in the offensive zone and gets himself available.
For me tonight, I'm going to give it to Chris Tanev. The guy is just, he is nuts. Absolutely nuts what he can do. And I mean, I was looking at some of the Money Puck advanced stats. He had 8 defensive zone shift starts. And then he also had the highest amount of shifts total tonight. Yes, Miro Heiskanen obviously had the biggest time on ice, but Chris Tanev just, man, he is so fantastic. He's so much fun to watch if you really like that aspect of the game. So, okay, who's your biggest loser tonight? Who you got, guys?
I'm gonna take a kind of weird one. I'm gonna take Cale Makar, not necessarily because he played poorly, but he took 7 block shots and still lost the game, and that sucks. When
That
one of your
does
most
suck. Poor
skilled
guy.
players make that many blocks and your team still isn't getting up and getting enough to win the game, that sucks.
I'm going to do a controversial one that might open a can of worms. The biggest loser is Nils Lundqvist. That pass in the offensive zone, fantastic. Love that. The first 2 goals from Colorado both happened by the 4th line. Nils Lundqvist on the ice, standing still. I mean, he only plays 5 minutes and he gets scored on twice. He finishes with a -1 and a primary assist. I mean, we know what he can do offensively. He showed it. He showed the offensive side of his game and how the skill that he has. And then he shows how bad he can be on defense. 5 minutes time on ice and allowed 2 goals.
Okay. Yeah. If I'm giving a real biggest loser tonight, I'm gonna give it to Josh Manson for trying to destroy Jamie Benn and it not working.
You got him on the wall.
He gave him a look like little brother. Like, what are you doing? Just get down. The real biggest loser for me, though, because I could rant about it for the next 3 minutes, is the freaking TNT broadcast. Here comes Colorado. 3rd time's the charm. There you go. I'm done. Anything else?
Got to go win game 3. You don't want to get to game 4. I mean, if you get to game 4 down 2-1, if it's going to feel like a must win. Got to get game 3. It's important.
I will say that I had a very rough day today. It would just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong today. I'll save you the sob story if you really care about it. Maybe I'll shoot a video later.
We'll put it on Discord.
Yeah, if you want, go and join the Discord and I'll tell you all about it. All right, but thank you, Dallas Stars, for winning this game. I really thought, coming home that we were going to lose the game just because of the way that my day had gone, and it was the exact opposite. So thank you for doing that, Stars. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you guys for following along with us here tonight. Again, we had 100 people who are watching us live at its peak. There's even more of you afterwards that are listening on the podcast side or even on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for following along with us. Guys, we had over 800 views on YouTube on our last on game 1. So fantastic what we're able to do, and that's because of you guys, those of you who are watching us, and even those Colorado people who might have come along and said some comments on our YouTube feed. Thank you for doing that as well. We love that. We absolutely love that. So I did go and guest podcast on with a podcast called Far End of the Bench. They're a Denver's based podcast. They're 2 great guys. Go and check that out on their YouTube feed, and kind of you can hear some of my comments between them and me. It was a really great interaction between those 2 guys. And I think that's it. SarcasticRemarks.com is the website. It's the first place you can listen. And as always, my name is Brian, along with Chris and James. We will catch you guys on the flip side. Hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. I'm really curious to see what Chris has for us. What you got, Chris?
You know what avalanches do? They fall. GG, boys.